right, guys, how was that? I've seen that episode this is my third time. It gets better every time, I'm not joking. So, we're gonna go into the panel now. So, I'm gonna introduce everyone really quickly, and then I'm gonna have our lovely panelists kind of speak a little bit about themselves. We have Aubrey Joseph, who plays Tyrone.
So guys.
We have Olivia Holt, who plays Tandy. Director of Episode 1, Gina Prince-Bythewood. We got blurred commentator Andre Black Nerd Meadows.
Thank you much.
And we got rap recording artist Murs. So, as I mentioned before, if you guys can kind of go down and just talk a little bit about yourselves really briefly and something that you guys are excited about or your favorite moment from the episode.
Okay. Aubrey, what's up, guys? Probably my favorite moment from this episode was when Tyrone and Tandy meet at the party scene. It's probably my favorite episode. Yeah.
Probably because it's meeting me, Olivia.
That's exactly why.
Oh, hi, I'm Olivia. Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. I played Tandy Bowen. I'm so bad at this. I don't know. I think that's one of my favorite scenes too. Is that initial meeting right after years and years and years of going through so much pain and finally like sort of understanding that there's something there. There's a real connection that they haven't felt in years. So I think that's probably one of my favorite scenes too.
Hey, Gina Prince-Bythewood. Thank y'all for coming out. So actually, I just have two. I'll say one is the favorite moment is the scene in the cemetery, and honestly, it's because these two did their own stunts, and it's as a director, you're trying to figure out how you're going to shoot this and make it real, and it's a Marvel show, and we're all used to seeing Marvel movies, but we don't have Marvel movie money. How can we make it look good? So, our mantra is really trying to make it grounded and real, and that involves having these two. And these two, got thrown against some bricks for a couple times, and the fact that they were down and worked on it, and you don't always get that, especially with young actors, but they were down for whatever, so grateful to them for that. And then honestly, the one I'm most proud of is the stuff at the beginning in the water, mostly because the two young actors couldn't swim, so it was like, how am I going to shoot this? But we made it work.
My name is Andre. I run the YouTube and Twitch channel Black Nerd Comedy. I've been doing that since 2007, so thank you. Talk about a lot of movies, TV, and video games, and pop culture, nostalgia culture, particularly talking about a lot of the movies and TV shows. So you did a good job. Yeah, it made it work. It was so awesome. I have to say, all those things you've already mentioned, and just seeing the powers happen, particularly seeing like the dagger come out, seeing the cloak happen, you waking up in various locations. Like, it was just really cool to see how that comes about, because I'm loving how that gets set up, and then to see what happens with that throughout the course of the series. So that was awesome.
I'm Murs. I'm the best rapper in Los Angeles. Aside from that, I'm the writer and host of Hip Hop DX's Breakdown editorial series. And most importantly, I'm a comic book nerd and geek of many years. And now I had a favorite scene, but Miss Bythewood ruined that for me, because now the water scene has to be the best scene. Yeah. But the overall grittiness of it is nice to see Marvel do something that features young people, but young people being real, better or worse. And I love that. It wasn't safe. So it's super not PG, so I can watch it and discuss things with some kids I mentor. It's not corny. It wasn't corny at all. It was amazing.
And I'll kind of close it out. My name is Joy again. My favorite scene was actually Murs ruined my favorite scene. I had an opportunity to write a review about the show, and I described it as teen angst with supernatural elements, which I think is a really good description of that. To his point, it's very, very, very gritty and it's very grounded, and it's something that my brother who's 18 could watch and he can relate to. So it's something that I appreciate. So starting with you, Miss Prince-Bythewood, for episode 1 in particular, the cop scene, before we get into the water scene, scenes such as that, especially when you have black characters kind of dealing with a bit of police brutality, it's something that needs to be provided with care, and I think you showed that care through that, so thank you. What was your thought process kind of shooting that scene in a way that really drives home that this was a pivotal moment in Tyrone's life without it being voyeuristic?
Yeah, I mean, that, you know, reading that in the script, it really was how we're going to do this and do it right. And honestly, went back, I have 2 boys, 17 and 14, so it was like, you know, thinking about what it could happen to them. And so coming at it from that perspective, it was about trying to make it grounded, real, and what would they do in that moment, how would they feel about each other in that moment. But I mean, it's tough to shoot something like that, especially seeing the young actor Marcus Clay. I mean, it's hard. It's freaking hard to see a kid, even though you know they're squibs and it's fake. It was hard.
Yeah. And with you in particular, Aubrey, you know, playing the adult version of yourself, and you're kind of going through that emotional turmoil, and it's affecting you throughout the film. Overall, playing a black superhero in the era of the Black Panthers and the Luke Cages, etc., how was that experience kind of stepping into the shoes of Tyrone?
Just unbelievable, you know, just something that I never really thought I could have dreamed of, but it's just been an honor, and it's a blessing to be a part of a show that is not only Marvel, but you know, has a goal to push the culture forward and make an impact. So I'm just glad that I'm a part of a show like this, and like you said, to represent people that aren't really represented all the time. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of culture, there was some really dope music throughout this episode. The party scene, I was really jamming. I've seen this episode more than once, but every time the party scene hits, I start like doing like a slight bop every time. I love the music, which I think does a really good job of kind of ramping up and kind of driving home certain scenes within the film. Murs, you being an artist, if you had a chance to add a song in any of the scenes, maybe your favorite scene in the movie, what song would you add and why?
Wow. Now my favorite scene being the swimming scene, I would probably add a Lil Peep song. You know, I really would. Because he's just, to me, he's the best at you know, because it's like a sad, intense moment, and he's the most recent, most like the best. And being that it's a movie that speaks to youth, I would choose something that a lot of the youth listen to, and I'm a huge fan.
That's awesome.
But can I just give a quick shout out, because we talked about the music, and I just want to give a shout out to 2 people in the audience. One is Terry Shropshire, who edited, and she and music is such an important part of what we do, and a couple of the tracks she came up with on her own, which is dope. And then Tammy Riker, who shot the pilot as well.
So talking a little bit about that pivotal scene, and we kind of mentioned it before, and when you guys meet, particularly Aubrey and Olivia, how was that filming that moment and kind of going through the motions of that? I know Gina mentioned a little bit about the physicality of it.
Well, I mean, we did that scene so many times.
We did
before.
the party one, the party
Yeah.
scene, yeah.
So yeah, just finally getting to do it was a little different, you know, but so we still had the same energy, and it still had that same connection, and it's one of the most important scenes. So yeah, it was also a fun night too, and
Yeah, that was yeah. Our audition scene was actually the scene where Tandy and Tyrone meet for the first time after 8 years, and so we had done that scene not just like in the audition, but like in the comfort of our own homes, looking at ourselves in the mirror like over and over and over again. Just preparing for that audition, and then we did in the audition, and then we brought it to its feet on set, and it was really challenging to sort of find like a nice like fresh of breath air again. And thank God for Gina, because we were really cold that night. And I remember I had like heat pads all over my bod. But yeah, I mean, from the party to the cemetery, I mean, there's like so many layers of confusion and I mean, adrenaline, and you know, there's heartache there. And I think, you know, the realization that they go through in such a short period of time is a lot to take in at the age that we're at. And so, I mean, it's such an important scene in this first episode, and I'm excited for everybody to see like us just push that even further throughout the rest of the season.
And speaking kind of a fighter, your character, when I first saw the show, I was like, she's scrappy. Like she's a fighter. Like that is kind of the embodiment of Tandy. For you, having a complex character, especially a complex female character, in a space where not necessarily women are allowed to be complex and have good and bad sides to them, how was it embodying Tandy throughout the episodes?
I first read the script when I got to New Orleans. So I already booked the part and I had no idea what I was doing. But I read the script and I was like, please be what, you know, what I hope this is. And it was much more than that. And I read this first episode and I just remember thinking how awesome that there's finally a woman in television that is not just what every woman is, and that's, you know, strong and confident and bold, but complicated and effortless and so herself. And she beats to the rhythm of her own drum, and she is an individual that stands out from the rest. And I think that that's what's so incredible. And with this shift that's happening, not just in this specific industry, but in, you know, and in the world and our culture with the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement, I think, you know, there's so much happening where Tandy fits right in with all of that. And I think it's so important that we have somebody like that in television that people can relate to and people can empathize with and connect to a certain degree. And I feel really lucky to be able to portray not just a kick-ass character, but a woman who fights and stands up for herself and is not afraid of any of that.
Andre,
Yes.
you mentioned a little bit, you've been doing this for a while. Have you ever imagined that this would be the time kind of to see this type of content on television? Like, what a time to be alive for this, I feel like, as a nerd.
I have said so many times I would love to time travel to like little me and be like, dude, keep liking this stuff. Trust me, it's gonna change like crazy. No, it's been a while. It's been a while to see just superheroes and seeing all this type of stuff in general become just more and more mainstream. Like they're the biggest movies we have, they're the biggest TV shows we have, and it's so awesome. And that people can come in different forms. You know, whether you're reading the comics, you're watching the shows, you're watching the movies, you're buying the t-shirts, you're getting the merch. It's like, that's what's really nice. Like, there shouldn't be a one way to enjoy this stuff. Whatever way that brings you in should be the way that brings you in. And I think that's so awesome that we get these different opportunities to see that. And then on top of that, to be able to see, you know, someone that looks like me, you know, in these various forms as well. Like, that's even more awesome, because now it's not just the one character. It's like you've got, just this year alone, we've got so many different characters that you're like, oh, you be that guy, me that guy. So that's really awesome, and I just hope that continues, because this is something that you start to notice that beyond the powers, beyond the storylines, these are humans, these are people with different types of emotions, different types of feelings, and different types of things that we deal with every single day. And when a show like this can bring that out, as well as have sort of that supernatural element to it, or that superhero element to it, that's really awesome to be able to combine that.
And for you and Murs in particular, you guys versus the rest of the panel, obviously not in the show, you're coming in kind of brand new to the space and watching it. For you, like, did you guys wonder, like, any lingering questions that you had, like, oh, I wonder what's going to be happening for future episodes?
Oh, definitely. I want to see what happens next. And as a comic book nerd, like, for something like Walking Dead, I've been reading for years now. It's, you know, it kind of follows and it deviates and it follows, and, you know, but here, since Cloak and Dagger has been, I don't want to say shelved, you know, I hope they relaunch it with the show. But I'm more into the show because there's no script, there's no, nothing. Last time I saw Cloak and Dagger, they were keeping the power on in some Marvel crossover. And they, you know what I mean? They haven't relaunched the characters yet, so there's no, the show could be leading the book, which I hope they use some of the story when they hopefully relaunch the book. So I'm really super into this. Like Runaways, I kind of like, I know what's gonna happen. Like I've been reading it. Everything that's, Luke Cage I've read, Black Panther I've read. And here we're, Jessica Jones I've read, but here we're somewhere new where the show is great and hopefully it can lead the book.
And last question, I'm gonna make a fun one. Aubrey, a little birdie told me that you have a dance background.
That birdie was lying.
Can I say it? I mean, I'm still blown away. He was Simba on Broadway for Lion King.
There's also another Simba right there. One of my best friends I grew up with, Dwayne. Yeah, but and all my friends were there. But it's a point in my past that I don't really like to talk about.
He's not kidding about it. He showed up on set with a Lion King on Broadway sweatshirt one time, and I was like, what are you, a fan of the Lion King or something? He was like, no, I was young Simba on Broadway for like all my childhood. I was like, oh my god, I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna bully you anymore about it.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
You guys, make sure you tune in on June 7th on